Spooky's house of jump scares. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, there we go. Spooky's Jumpscare Mansion is a 2014 horror game based around the age-old Halloween tradition of traveling through an old haunted attraction. The goal? To simply get through 1,000 rooms of varying size and depth. This all sounds well and good for a video game. Get from A to B with some obstacles and some enemies in the way, and try your best not to die. Perfect gameplay loop. But what if it wasn't a video game? What if it was real life? Now, you might be thinking, what would the ethics of these experiments be in the real world? How do we reintegrate the specimen into society again? Are ghosts real now? No. Me? How much does this mansion cost? You think this game's unrealistic because it has ghosts. I think it's unrealistic because someone under the age of 30 has a house. Sorry. Mansion. My goal here is to figure out the construction costs for this entire 1,000 room building. I know. With all that's going on in the world, rest assured that I will be there to study the plausibility of a fictional ghost being able to pay off contractors to build their stupid off-site death trap box. Now, anybody who's played the game is aware of the tall order of finding the cost for a place like this. It's 1,000 total rooms, let alone finding the cost of 1,000 randomized rooms with no fixed blueprint to go off of. So, for the sake of not having to conduct quantum physics experiments to find a fixed number based on an ever-changing layout, I will be going strictly off the scripted rooms that you're guaranteed to come across in your path. The rest of the room count will be replaced entirely with the largest randomly generated room in the game, as, though rather unlikely, it's technically possible to get that room type back-to-back consecutively, and I want the maximum cost attributed to this giant money laundering scheme. First things first, let's get the basic rooms out of the way. And the first of many is your introduction to the titular character herself, Spooky.
Hello, I am Spooky.
Yeah, I don't care. I got things to do. To get it started, we gotta get a good measurement of the basic size of this here beginning layout. Now, getting the dimensions isn't exactly easy, because this is a game set in a cartoonish style with 0 frame of reference. So, I'm gonna try to pull MatPat game theory here and analyzing the dimensions of the floor tiles to real-life tiles and getting approximates for pretty much all of the walls in this room. God willing. The floor tiles appear to be the same width and length across all rooms with this tile texture. The best comparative match I was able to find was dining room or kitchen floor tiles, which most popularly being 12-inch by 12-inch in dimensions, which, as first grade math would suggest, is a literal square foot. Using these dimensions, the ground level is shaped at a roughly 16 by 20 square foot area, this omitting the small entrance, coming at a approximate 4 by 12 feet. The upper level comes in at a similar 12 by 20 square foot area, making this, at large, measures in at a total of 28 by 20 square feet. Now, the real fun comes in at finding the height of this goddamn crypt, or whatever you'd call it. Hey, future me here. So, I didn't really need the height to factor into finding out the costs for each of the rooms here. So, I'm just gonna save us both the time and just fast forward past all that stuff. Just a note, there is a study I found that gives me the rough cost per square footage of $162, and that will be how I get the rest of my rough estimates from here on. And also, apparently every room in this place is at most 4 feet tall, and you are 3 feet. 2 feet. 2.5 feet. You're tiny. You are very tiny. Okay, you get all that? It'll be on the test later. Okay? Okay, take care. Later. It was also at this point in the script that I realized height measurement doesn't factor into square footage. That would be cubic. I failed math. Anyways, inputting the measurements, room 0 comes in at a whopping $98,496. This child does not make that much, especially for being dead. Next up, or down in this case, we've got the elevators. 11 of them to be exact. This room is probably the easiest to get the dimensions of, given the benefit of a 3-foot tall door. These dingy wall panels are exactly the width of the doors, meaning each panel is 1 foot wide, making a one wall just 12 feet long. And each wall is of equal length, so a 12 by 12 room. That evens out to 144 square feet, leaving us with $23,328 per room, which actually comes down to $256,608. But that is not all, because the elevator obviously goes down. The depth of the actual shaft is the size of the elevator 7 times, 1 for when it rests at the top, 1 for it rests at the bottom, and 5 for the looping wall textures that you can see going past. This comes in at a total 576 cubic feet, or 21.3 cubic yards roughly. HomeGuide.com gives me a general excavation cost of $2.50 to $15 per cubic yard. For flexibility and the fact that it's a ghost child haunting contractors day by day, we'll aim for the lower costs. Spooky's always been persuasive. 21.3 cubic yards multiplied by $2.50 for the rate per cubic yard brings us to $53.25. Multiplied 11 times for all the elevators, make it a total extra $585.75. No, rewind that. 21.3 cubic yards times 15 for the rate makes it $319.50. 11 times over brings us $3,514.50. Still doesn't feel nearly enough, but I don't care. This freeloader pisses me off. That totals the elevator costs at $260,122.50, which is better, I guess. Up next, we got the second encounter of Spooky.
So just keep going.
Not much going on here. The room measures in 3 blocks, a 12 by 12, a 12 by 20, and a 12 by 14. You've been keeping up? Yes, a lot of this game's scripted rooms are size 12s, or apparently a women's large, I guess. Using the same formula as before, we end up with an area of 432 square feet, giving us a cost of $69,984. Which, yes, that is one of the funny numbers. Congratulations, you biped twin. Just to speed things up, I'll rapid fire the other 2 spooky encounter rooms. Room 500 comes in at a square footage of 416, making it $67,392, and room 750 comes in at 592 square feet and costs $95,904. This shit is getting rather expensive. Now to get onto the specimen rooms. First up is specimen number 2, i.e. room 60. I'm not going to go into the lore implications or deep diving into the specimen's search history. I'm sure you can find plenty of videos online about those things, but I'm more interested in Spooky's checkbook. Room 60, besides the wild pile of splooge on the floor, is generally just a standard room, making this one really easy. The room comes in at a 28 by 20 for the main room, and an 8 by 4 and a 4 by 4 for the entrance and exit respectively, totaling up at a 608 square feet and $98,496. Whole lot of room for a whole lot of nothing. Anywho, next up, room 120. No, your eyes aren't deceiving you. Yes, that is an homage to SCP Foundation. No, you cannot go take a look. This is a research-funded investigation, not a house tour. It feels like one, but that's besides the point. Room 120 is broken into 3 sections: the incubation sector, the main hallway, and the chase scene. These each respectively measure in at 416, 352, and 624 square feet. This room, or rooms for that matter, costs $217,728. The first single room to cost 6 figures. Sakura School Simulator. Anyways, Scary Japanese School has a few fixed rooms. I can't be bothered to list off the sizes, so I'm just going to throw up my notepad document for this one. And yes, it does cost over $500,000. Spooky's got me in a chokehold right now. I still have 12 more rooms to get to. Room 210 is actually kind of creepy, reminiscent of the Otherworld from the Silent Hill franchise. It gives off a good respelling of the atmosphere that game loved to bring in a grotesque other dimension. That looks like a testicle. Why does this room have a testicle? 9 rooms in this one, really dragging that 1,000-room title into the floor with the unannounced bonus rooms you run into. 5 of the 9 rooms are the exact same size, and the rest were just other variations of dirty hallway. And despite how unkept it is, it boasts an even at $648,000 cost. This room is funded by Balenciaga as part of their Poverish campaign. Room 310 is... this is gonna take forever. You know what? Fuck it. I don't care. Another rapid fire! Room 310 comes with 6 rooms and costs $474,336. Room 410 comes with several rooms and costs nothing, because it's not real. The 2 express tunnels used after room 500 and being jump scared with a smaller number like it's the grade percentage for your college finals costs $33,048 and $27,702 in order of encounter. Rooms 551 and 553 both cost $19,440 because they are both just shacks in the middle of the woods, and room 557 costs $300,672. Not because it houses a torrential deer god, but because it has a record player, which nowadays is considered vintage. Room 610 has dead space doors, actual running electricity, and a silly little guy, making this room cost $487,620. Spooky is racking a ginormous bill for the most asinine playdate ever recorded in history. Room 710 is McDonald's, $300,000. Room 910 is a series of flooded rooms and amnesia water monster chase sections, to which I just juke and evade like nothing because I run this bitch. This costs $692,064. And yes, I know I skipped room 810. If you would give me a minute. Room 810 is suspiciously a mansion, built inside the mansion underground. I personally don't buy that. The main menu art for Spooky's house shows a mansion silhouette with windows of separate sections left and right, and even up. Room 810 has separate sections left and right, and even up. It also has windows, which you wouldn't need underground. Not to mention the fact that if you boot up endless mode, you start off outside the mansion going underground. My working theory, Spooky is not a little girl, but is actually the old man in this mansion, and just died of old age, and probably died to avoid paying off their mortgage. No, she did not get shot as shown in the side stories. Those are fake and falsified pieces of information. Video games would never let something bad happen to children. Also, this section costed $684,162. Okay, all of the scripted rooms are measured and accounted for. Next is the remainder. This one is simple, as the largest room that generates in the game is the catwalk mazes, which is roughly 3,840 square feet big. That costs $622,080. So far, the scripted rooms account for 35 of the 1,000 rooms, and comes at a total of $4,692,901.50. Which means that for the largest randomly generated rooms, which again costs $622,080, mind you, will have to be multiplied 965 times. This brings Spooky's stupid goddamn house of infinite wealth up to a true total cost of $605,101.50. That is the most inconceivable amount of you money, and it only adds to my suspicions that Spooky died to the house from the mortgage payments, because on a mortgage calculator at a 20% down payment for 30 years with a 6.75% interest rate, it would have costed $3.5 million a month. There is no plausible way that Spooky could manage that, especially with when she could barely keep the lights on without having a random dwarf coming in and restarting her generators for her. In short, literally, Spooky is either a debt-ridden old man, extremely rich, or both, effectively making her either Elon Musk or the president. Game theory videos make no sense in how they can make listing numbers off sound interesting, and any Austin is a better man than I am, cause staring at pixels for hours on end just to edge out what the size of a dead kid's house is in a video game genuinely almost drove me insane. Thank you for watching. Now, I'm either going to enlist myself in the military, go to therapy, or go be a racist on the internet in hopes that I can somehow find catharsis in bullying other demographics whose only fundamental difference is their ability to not need to use a tanning salon.